is the Modern Conservative Podcast with John Harvey.
Good day, America. My name is John Harvey, and this is the Modern Conservative Podcast, aka tmcpnation.com. You can look up on the latest podcast, latest thoughts, my latest troublemaking comments that gets me in trouble sometimes. But hey, you can find it on tmcpnation.com. And also, this segment it was brought to you by ironsightbc.com. ironsightbc.com. It's not just your average coffee. It should be your only coffee. Check it out at ironsightbc.com, and they are true conservatives because I know it from firsthand. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, I said ladies and gentlemen, because at the end of the day, that's all you ever be is a man and a woman. No matter what your imagination may tell you and how much makeup you put on your face, you'll still be a man or either a woman. So, sucks to be you if you think you can change that, but it is what it is. Hey, today I want to talk about something that's going on lately with our great and wonderful president, Joe Biden. You know, the left like to call conservatives, the right-wing conspirators. It seems like anything we say about the left, is we're always a conspiracy theorist. For example, when COVID came about, I shouldn't use that word, the C word came about. Everything that we can say about the C word, COVID, we were attacked by the left as being right-wing fear-mongers, right-wing conspiracy theorists, right-wing nut jobs, you name it, they called us that. But then, later down the road, when they realized the vaccines didn't work, it's amazing how that conversation kind of disappeared. It just disappeared. And the people on the left wonder, where do you guys get your information from? Charlie Brown and the cartoons, or, something stupid that they would say. But let me say something to you right now, lefties. I'm laughing at you. So is half the country. We're laughing at you. You got the pokey for no reason at all, because it's found out now that it doesn't work. Never did work. And if it did work, it only worked momentarily. But you put yourself in a position because of fear. And that fear was based on lack of knowledge, lack of common sense, and in some cases, if not all cases, lack of due diligence in trying to find out what's really going on. I've heard so many times the people on my side, the conservatives, the Republicans, say that the liberals are sheep. And I say to the conservatives on my side of the aisle, you're sheep as well. Because some of you got the jab as well. This wasn't just a left or right issue. This was a lack of common sense issue, not used by or because of fear. So when we call the left sheep, the right need to realize that, hey, there's a lot of sheep on our wagons, a lot of sheep. And so we can never forget that. And they too will call us right-wing conspiracy theorists, or, right-wing nut jobbers, so forth and so on. So, and I say this because this is what's ironic. We've been talking about Joe Biden and his mental incapacity for about 2 years now. And everybody was calling us full of shit. We didn't know what we were talking about. Nut jobs, blah, 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 blah. The Hunter Biden laptop, not real, blah, 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 blah. That's just propaganda promoted by the Republicans and the conservatives, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? You know the difference between a conspiracy and the truth? Now you know. About 6 months. That's right. We knew what we were talking about. You can call us a nut job all you want, but you're eating crow right now, I bet you, with a whole lot of sugar because it tastes like shit. I'm sure it does. We knew for a long time now Joe Biden was going to be a problem. The media has known for a long time that Joe Biden was going to be a problem. They didn't let you know he was going to be a problem. I've got a friend of mine who's a Democrat. He always asks me, why is it we don't see what you guys are spreading when it comes to these conspiracies? Why don't we see it? It's because they know your algorithm and they don't let you see what we see. So you really, if you're on the left and you want to know what's going on the right, where the truth is, there's a reason why they call us the right. It's because we're right. It's because we're right. And we've proved it to you once again. We were right. See, this debate they had a week and a half ago, give or take, that exposed Joe Biden to who he really was. And they couldn't hide that from me because you know why? It was live. It was live. Your common sense should have said to you, wait a minute, no audience. They haven't done that since the 1960s in the Kennedy and Nixon debate. No audience. That makes no sense. Oh, you're going to control their microphone. Now, I will say this. I like the format because it did stop them from over talking to each other so you can hear the other idiot cry foul. Not only that, the commentators, even though they are on the left, they actually did a pretty good job. You know why? Because they were out to expose Joe Biden for the man he really is as far as his mental incapacity. They want him gone. And not only that, they knew that he could not beat Donald Trump. They know the game is over. So they want him out. So they try to expose him and shame him to step down. But you know, Grandpa Joe refused to go because he said no. See, we already knew this stuff on the conservative side of things. We knew this. This was nothing to us that we hadn't seen before because we've seen all the TikToks, we've seen all the press conferences, we've seen all the town hall meetings where he's stumbling, we've seen how he's talking about cannibalism, you know, his son died in Iraq, which he did not. We've seen all of that stuff. See, we see it on our side in our neck of the woods because we live in the right. Because we use our common sense and we don't just believe anything that the government tells us or the media tells us. When you don't ask yourself a question such as, how do these guys know so much and we don't? It's because my side, the right side, though not perfect, let's get that straight. And on our side, we have problems too with the media, our own media, because at times they play the same game. You ask the question, why would they do that? It is to keep us divided. It is to keep us divided. We say your president is a bunch of crap. You push back and say, no, he's not. We say he's losing his mind. You push back and say, no, he's not. We're divided. One truth, which we have seen now, what the truth really is, versus someone who beginning another story from the media platforms that they listen to most often, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and others. And this is what keeps us divided. It's not only the race issue that keeps us divided. The more they keep stacking on and on and on and on to keep us dividing, it is a bigger pile of shit that we have to climb down to undo. See, that's the thing. They want to keep us divided. It's not just about the race thing. It's about keeping us divided so the shit that they do can be done without it being recognized. And Joe Biden was the latest episode. The man has lost his damn mind, and rightly so, because he's old. This is what happens as you get older. Your mind doesn't get stronger, it gets weaker. That's just the way nature works. And for them to sit there and lie, hold on, let me back up. I want to talk about something, first of all. It's his freaking wife, Jill Biden. That woman needs to be charged with elderly abuse. She knows her husband has been used to ruin this country. I'll be honest with you. I don't necessarily blame Joe Biden. He can't remember which hand to wipe his ass with. Not to mention the most complex situation that goes on in this country. He can't delegate that crap. Somebody is pushing his buttons, and it's his wife. I don't care what you say, it's his wife. She is the most despicable first lady that I've ever seen since I've been born, been on this planet, and I'm sure she's probably one of the worst women, period, on the planet. Why would you allow them to use your husband as a head figure to take the country in the direction that the country does not need to go? If you're doing it just to get your damn son out of prison, to keep him out of prison, Joe Biden, just pardon your damn son and walk away. Or are you trying to make a bunch of money for your family before you leave? Or is your family trying to make a bunch of money while you're in office? Because we know he's a crook. We know Joe Biden is a crook, and we've known that for a long time. But here's what's funny. The Democrat voters don't know nothing about that. It's amazing how he talks about race in this country, and he was the biggest promoter in 1992 when it came to crime and locking blacks up for minimal crimes for a long period of time. You know, there's a video out there of Joe Biden. He's hanging out with Jesse Helms, and Jesse Helms was a North Carolina senator. And I think it was his last election. He won by a slim margin. And the black community was trying to get rid of him because he was a known racist. And Joe Biden was one of his proteges that hung out with Jesse Helms. So when Jesse Helms won, I think it was his last election, and I may be wrong on that one, but it was pretty close to the end of his political career. Jesse Helms said after his victory, in his victory speech, he says, "I guess they won't be celebrating in Mudville." Look up the video. And guess who's standing beside him smiling? It's Joe Biden. It was Joe Robinette Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, the man is evil. And, you know, even at 80-something years old, he's just old and evil. But because he's old and evil, it makes it so much easier for those behind the curtain to control him. Now, look, the Democrats, they really don't want to replace Joe Biden. They really don't. Because they can do whatever they want with him being the president, and he's not cognitive of what's going on. They can do anything. They all are emperors in their departments. Look at Mayorkas, emperor. Look at Merrick Garland, emperor. Secretary of Defense, Austin, emperor. They all are emperors in their own domain because they don't really answer to anyone. And the indication of that is what they're doing. And all the blame goes to Joe Biden. It all goes to Joe Biden. Not a single other person, not even Kamala Harris. It all goes towards Joe Biden. And the problem with that is it's going to get worse and worse and worse before November, because I have a feeling they're going to have to do something. They will start eating their own to get rid of Joe Biden and to keep Joe Biden. You know, they had a meeting today with the Democrats on what they're going to do, and they're talking about implementing the 25th Amendment. But you need Kamala Harris to force the issue. Now, whether she does it or not, I don't know. Well, I think she will because she's power hungry. Look, she's been a sitting stooge for 4 years now. All she does laugh and giggle and do absolutely nothing. Hell, she can't sit and look pretty. But I'm wondering what they're going to do. If they implement the 25th Amendment, they're going to need the Republicans. Now, the Republicans are something stupid anyway. If I was the Republicans, I wouldn't go along with it. I would let the Democrats eat him alive and then let Trump beat him in the elections. That's what I would do. I would do everything I could to keep Joe Biden in power if I was a Republican, because it would be a power move. Because they're talking about running Michelle Obama, or they're talking about letting Barack Obama be vice president, which he can do per the 12th Amendment. He can be vice president. He cannot be president again because he's ineligible, because he's already served 2 terms. But he could be vice president. And then Kamala be the president. He still would be legally controlling the country, even though Kamala would be the figurehead. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting next few months. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how the power play comes out. Because like I stated earlier, some Democrats want Biden to stay in power because that means they stay in power. So if they get somebody in like a Barack Obama, Michael Obama, Gavin Newsom, or Gretchen Whitmer out of Michigan, or there's somebody else they were talking about running. I can't recall who it was. But that could be problematic for Donald Trump. Because you have those Democrats right now, they're saying, look, I'm not going to waste my vote. I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. We want somebody else to vote for, or I just won't vote. So they'll bring in somebody like that so these people can throw their votes at. And even the moderate Republicans who don't like Donald Trump, like the Never Trumpers. I think no matter who the Democrats put in power, the moderate Republicans, the rhino voters, they're going to vote for the Democrat nominee. I just got that feeling because there's just so many people, they say hate Donald Trump, but you can't tell if you look at America as a whole. The man is beloved everywhere he goes. He is absolutely beloved everywhere he goes. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen there, but you know, he's my guy. I support him. Look, you know, this is how lame the left are. They talk about what he's going to do. He's going to destroy the country. He's a madman. He's a racist. And what's funny about this stuff is none of that happened in 2016 through 20. It's almost as if these idiots don't realize he's already been president once and gave you 4 of the best years you probably had in your lifetime. At least if you're my age. But they speak as if this man has never ran for office. And well, he's never been the president of the United States. I could see if he was a first-time presidential candidate. But we already know his history. He's not a racist. He's done more for blacks than any other president in history of this country. He's done more for protecting the border than any other president in this country. He spends billions and billions of dollars on the military to keep us safe more than most presidents in our entire history of this country. The man tells you he's going to do something. He's done it. He's done it. But what he hasn't done is push the nuclear button. That was the Democrats that said that, not Trump. He hasn't destroyed your Social Securities. That's the Democrats and the Republicans doing that, not Trump, because that's been ongoing and probably will continue going for as long as politics is in effect in the state in this country, because the politicians in this country are all dirtbags. They all are dirtbags. Some are bigger piles of dirt than other, but they're all dirtbags. They're not in this business for you and I, because it is a business for them. It's not politics and protecting the country and protecting the people and doing what's right for the people, by the people, representing those of the people. They do not represent us at all. They are all Joe Bidens. Some just haven't gotten caught. Some still working on their resume. They don't give a rat's ass about us. So when I say I don't blame Joe Biden for a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, all the woke crap and, you know, the transgender issues that should never be in politics. None of it should be in politics. Who you married shouldn't be the government's discernment. The government should not be in the social environment when it comes to relationship. Should not be part of it. But when you run to them and then you beg them for help, guess what? You got problems. You've got problems, because now they're going to figure out how to tax you because you wanted the government help. So people need to learn to be accountable for their own lives and keep the government out of it. Like Roe v. Wade, for example. You know, people have said that Donald Trump wanted to get rid of abortions. He's never said that. He says there are exemptions for abortions that he would never try to remove. He also said that he wants it going back to the states, which it should be, because it's not a right. The left like to use the word right. Either right when they hate us, or they wanted to use the word rights of the people when they want something, but yet it's not even the right of the people. Abortion is not a right. It's a choice. And it does, because it's a choice doesn't mean it's always a good choice. It just angers me when people start talking about as if it's a right. You know, you have a right to bear arms. You have the right to freedom of speech. You know, you have the right to mean silence. And I wish the liberals would really use that one. I really wish they would just shut up, because they don't realize how stupid they sound half the time they open their mouth. And here's what's funny. When the liberals run to the politicians to get help, for example, the transgender bill, the politicians know the politicians know a boy cannot have a girl, nor can they become a girl. You become what I call a faux female. Faux, F-A-U-X, faux. But these politicians know that. Not everybody suffers with the same mental condition as some people who believe they can actually become a female or have babies. Men have babies. That is a mental issue that should be checked out. I'm just saying, you know, common sense, people, common sense. Sometimes it goes a long ways, especially when you leave your emotions out of it. Now, we were talking about Joe Biden earlier. You know, common sense says to the conservative, he's got to go. But to the liberal, their common sense tell them, oh, he's just a sweet old man. 4 more years. You can make it, Joe. That's how the liberals look at Joe Biden. You know, when it came down to the document hearings, and Special Prosecutor Hurd said that Joe was basically guilty, but he was too old to prosecute because some jury members may see him as weak and feckless. Well, whose problem is that? Whose problem is that? But yet, this same man can run the most powerful, the most, well, let me change it, the strongest dominating country on the planet. Let me say this one more time. He can be the president of the world's most powerful, God, I can't even speak today. The world's most powerful country. How much sense does that really make? Use your common sense. Use your common sense. He's too old to prosecute, but yet he can run the world's most powerful country. And why is that? Because Herb knows that Joe Biden is not running the country. They all know he's not running the country. They let him stay in power so they can use him when they need him. And when they need a puppet to go out and make some speech and make himself look stupid, he doesn't realize he's making himself look stupid. See, during that debate, Joe Biden thought he did a great job. He thought he did a really good job. He said, I was tired. I've been up for 7 days. It sucks if you had to be up 8 days because we would go straight down the shitter then. He really believes that he did a great job. Now, we Americans and even the Democrats who had seen that debate said, what the hell? It was nothing new to the conservatives because we've seen it in other forms of the media. A friend of mine said to me, why is it when the Republicans show a video of Joe Biden, they only show part of it? Well, because all you need to show is the part that matter. If you're walking up the stairs and you fall on your freaking face at 80 years old, what more do you need to see? That he tripped? Okay, let's say we give it to him trip. When he's sitting at the podium, he's giving a speech, and he all of a sudden goes into a dead stare and a blank look. How much more do you need to see? You're looking for something to justify what you have just seen to be weird. And we don't. It's just like when Mick McConnell was on freeze frame. We saw that, but we didn't say, well, let's see if there's more to it than that. No, we didn't do that. What we needed to see, we saw. We saw a man that's getting too old to be the minority leader of the United States Senate. That's it for us. We don't need a bunch of explanations. That's it. We know he needs to go. Hence the reason he's stepping down in November. So, quit looking for miracle answers for something that's so obvious. It's right there in front of your face. This is the problem with a lot of these people in politics. They try to justify what they already know is wrong because they don't want to be wrong. And that's why we call us the right, because we're always right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this show is coming to an end. Another great show, another great week. I want to thank all of you for listening. And I don't know what I'm going to talk about Thursday, but I'm going to make it really nice. So, my name is John Harvey, and I'm the host of the Modern Conservative Podcast. Check us out on tmcbnation.com, and you guys have a great rest of your week.
This is the Modern Conservative Podcast with John Harvey.